Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Here we get you the right guests. We ask them what we hope are relevant questions on issues that matter to you, and you learn a thing or two. It's live, it's interactive. If you're watching, you want to contribute with a question or a comment, send it via the WhatsApp number on the screen. And of course, if you're watching on any of the social media platforms, don't forget to contribute via the stream down there. The Point of View is brought to you by Airtel Tigo. And tonight I have a great show. I'm looking forward to the show myself. I really want to watch these guys. I'm going to be speaking to 4 of the very best people who bring joy and happiness to our lives. They use their creative energy to make our country a better place. We are in the 9th week of a pandemic. I'm going to find out from them how they're coping. Stay with us. So thank you for staying with us on The Point of View. So these people have done so much that sometimes introducing them by their names is not fair to them. So what I'm going to do is give you a short clip of my first guest. She's done many things. She's a movie producer, she's an actor, she's a goodwill ambassador, she's even an entrepreneur. And hopefully she will dash me some of her products before we finish the show. Let me show you a quick clip of one of the things I most like her for.
10 years ago, I had the call to fix a broken air condition in the office of the most beautiful woman I had ever seen.
Why did our lives become so complicated? Growing up sucks. When's the last time any of you prayed?
Hello, Dede.
Hello, Reverend.
You know, as human beings, we hide a lot from the world.
I didn't know we were talking about my past. Besides, I never asked you about yours.
And you're perfectly okay with not knowing anything about my past?
You are my husband's lover. You have to tell me everything. And when I say that, I mean everything.
Get out. Do you know it's criminal to share videos like this? Do you understand that it's raping a 21-year-old?
What did you say? He's a little perfect, isn't he?
Dede, there is no such thing as a perfect man.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting one of Ghana's finest, the irrepressible, the beautiful Lydia Forson. Hello.
Hey, you know how to big me up. You know? Say all the right things.
Lydia. How be?
Happy birthday, Bernard.
Thank you. I've sent my dispatch for the gift, so when we are finished, you give my gift to him.
You don't have a problem at all.
Thank you for doing this, Lydia. Let me introduce our next guest. He's a friend of mine. He is one of the most powerful rappers we have, and he delivers very insightful lines. They call it, he spits bars. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just give you a quick clip of this next guest of mine. Yes, so he's a Ghanaian rapper, singer and songwriter, multiple award-winning M.Anifest. Yo, M.anifest.
Yes, my brother. Happy birthday.
Thank you, bro. Is that a football jersey you're wearing?
Yeah. It's Jonathan Mensah's jersey. He's
oh, nice.
In the US now, and he gave me a jersey, so big up to him.
If I do birthday line, give me.
Yeah. Go, Bernard. It's your birthday. We don't party like it.
Don't worry. One of the guests will give you a beat, so we can do something before the show. And thank you, M.anifest. Thank you for being on the show. We'll talk soon. Let me introduce my third guest. Somebody I've admired from afar. I think she has one of the most powerful TV platforms in the country, but she's a lot more than a TV star. She's acted. She sings. She's just too good. Take a short view.
My office is just around here. I came for a business meeting. Just leave it.
Our work will be very simple. If you suspect your partner is cheating on you, just tell us about it. We give you a proof, you pay us.
We're going after the side chicks.
Yes.
Get the bad ones. Yeah. We're the good ones. Side chick. Yeah.
Hurry up.
Gee. Why are you following me?
Oh.
Who are you?
Like, where are you now?
I'm starting to enjoy being with him. I just want you to find out if they've broken up.
Are you cheating on me?
No, never.
It will cost you 15,000.
Okay, so I'm sure you know who that is, Nana Ama McBrown. She's joining us shortly on the feed on the Zoom link. So as soon as she joins, we'll talk to her. And we're not going to sack her for coming late. We know there are people who do that elsewhere. My fourth guest also is a friend of mine. He's one of Ghana's most talented music producers and sound engineers. And we call him Kaywa, but he has other nicknames. He will join us as well. But I'm going to start with my first two guests, Lydia and M.anifest. So Lydia, thank you so much for joining us. So tonight, I just wanted to find out, you guys are in the entertainment and arts industry. You make people happy, you make people think. People go through difficult stuff and come to you. Now we've had 9 weeks of a pandemic that's stopped everything. How are you holding out, Lydia?
Just taking it one day at a time. I think I can appreciate that everybody's going through it. Nobody saw COVID, coming. So it's a lot of adjusting. There are days, I think several times a day, it kind of hits me like, wow, this is really happening. One of those weird movies you watch where they say the world is coming to an end at this time, and a few times a day it kind of hits me like, this is really the new normal, but it's a lot of adjusting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about how it's affected you and everything else, but you are a woman of many parts. I know you act, I know you produce movies, I know you have your own business that you do, and you're also an ambassador. Which of the things you do would you say has been most affected by this?
You know what? I can't even say anything has been most. I think all of them have been affected in different, ways. For acting, how do I even explain it? I think everything has been affected differently. Probably with acting, it's a bit more. But then, with my business as well, I've been hit maybe in terms of, production and all of those things. So every single area, and that's the thing about COVID, it's no respect of, what you do. Every single area is going to be hit in one way, or the other. So what I'll probably be able to get away with in the acting, department, and the business-wise, it's also complicated. Yeah.
I see. And how are you doing social distancing, all the mask, washing hands, those things? I mean, talk to me. You know
what? And I said this to someone a few days ago, that when you're camped up in your house, it seems very, very easy, okay. And then you'd be like, oh, no, nobody should go out, don't go to work, why would you put your life at risk? But then when you do step out, the first day is a bit scary. I mean, I had to do some work, and I don't know how you guys are doing it, because the truth is, a few times during the day you forget. That's the reality, because we are not used to covering our nose and keeping a social distance. So it's easy to be online and say do all of these things, but then you get there and then you have to make a conscious effort to keep a social distance. So I always do have my mask, I have my sanitizer. I think I'm more paranoid than everybody else. But then you get into certain spaces where it's there's social distances, but then how do you not look rude and because someone will not be wearing their mask, and you're like, you want to tell them wear their mask, and then you meet friends of yours who you forget. You really do. Wow. And then you're attempting to hug them, and then you remember in that moment. So it's definitely not easy.
M.anifest, how are you holding out with COVID?
Well, I think similar to Lydia, it's adjustment. I think it's been quite important to recalibrate and to focus on what matters. In these times, you have to quickly learn that whatever it is your selfish ambitions are of what you want for yourself, you started the year with these, what do they say, goals. That's what they say. These. You have to recalibrate and get back to the basics of our humanity. I mean, survival, looking out for each other. What I do affects you, what you do affect me. As public figures using influence for not just our businesses, but actually for the greater good. So for me, it's a quick level of recalibration. It's been good personally as well, because sometimes when you're going, Bernard, when you're going on and on doing your work, you don't get a chance to really sit back to refocus, think of purpose, and and you take things for granted, etc. And COVID is a by force introspective agent. It's an agent of forcing you to be introspective and to focus on what matters. So, I mean, what will it be if we lose a year of our lives, quote and unquote, professionally?
Yeah.
And we survive collectively. What is that such a terrible thing? So you reflect on all these things, and I think you kind of zoom back into, no pun intended, into what's important.
So what is more important now? Is it family? Is it spirituality? Is it, I don't know what? Because you're doing pretty well in your career, making a lot of money. So if you say you are refocusing, what is becoming relatively more important now that we are in this situation?
It is our collective interest, the greater good.
Okay.
And not to sound like a charity or Madame Teresa or any of these things, Mother Teresa, but in terms of what are we here for? What are we here to do in our time on earth? What is our contribution? And in times of difficulty, how do we forge ahead together? And in capitalism does not teach us that. Capitalism is about self-advancement. Yeah. And we have to remember that sometimes there is a connection between how you can move forward and how we can all collectively move forward. So I think that's what's important. Look, for a creative, for instance, now, your messaging, if you are literally thinking of just yourself in these times, in a time of crisis, and you are thinking, oh, here's my new single, so everybody go and listen. It has nothing to do with it might have nothing to do with what people's everyday immediate concerns of survival are. So you have to be forced to reckon with, what is my message and why is it that I think this is so important that I have to do this? How does it contribute to people outside of just me? And I think that's important.
Wow. So in a sense, you are less selfish. You are thinking more about the collective. It's more about other people, because your survival depends on everybody else's survival, kind of thing.
Yes, this is a time when, you and I are more connected than ever before in this kind of situation. And I do think that people sometimes who fail to reflect and consider it as such are going to suffer the most during these times, both psychologically and practically, because if you really think that your selfish ambition really rises above somebody's greater good, then I mean, why should anybody care about what it is that you're presenting, what it is that you're selling?
Amazing. Let me come back to Lydia. So look, your most of the things you do, Lydia, have to do with people. So whether it's a script you're writing or an act you're putting together, you have to be with people. So can you begin to tell us how much business you've lost, or how much you've had to put things on hold because of this period?
You know what, if I'm being extremely honest, and I love every bit of what, M.anifest said, that you can look at this as, losing, or you can look at this as, for me, I feel like it's a reset of some sort. Okay. Relearning, unlearning what we can do, better. Fortunately, I had a great movie that was out. We were in cinemas for about probably the longest running Ghanaian film in the cinema. And immediately, we went out of the cinema. COVID-19, happened. And I can measure the industry based on my experience, but that would not be fair. So it has been difficult, but I always say there's a plan B. There's always something you can do. The great thing about what I do is I I don't limit myself to only one thing. So even though this is difficult, for instance, when we were on lockdown, I just said, okay, I may not be able to go on set, but I'm a creative, I'm an actress. You know, I entertain people, I educate people. What can I do within my four corners? You know, so it forces you to go into, you know, creating mood. Of course, in the long term, it is going to be difficult. But like I said, when I had to do a little project, and it was extremely difficult because, you know, you're going to take all the safety precautions, but at some point, what you can't, there are just some things that no matter how safe you try to be, it does not help the story you're trying to tell. So, yes, it's difficult, but I can't say I've been hit as hard as, because I just dug in. I love a challenge, and yes, it's difficult, but
it means you are very well diversified, because I'm seeing you do, if you are not acting, you are producing. If you are not producing, you are ambassadoring. If you are not ambassadoring, you are entrepreneuring. So you have...
You know what? I will tell you this. On the 21st, we had a huge launch we were going to do.
Okay.
And that's what, again, I just love listening to M.anifest talk. But on the 21st, we had an event we were going to do, and the first case had been reported in Ghana. And I remember calling my team and saying, look, at the end of the day, what I do involves people. Even though it's a service I provide, there will be no service to provide if the people are not there. So we are canceling it. So what can we do?
Wow.
And we sat down and we had a plan B. I didn't know. And I remember, you know, when I was tweeting up a storm about COVID, everybody's like, you're exaggerating. But if the thing about what we do as entertainers, beyond entertaining people, we tell stories and then we tell history. And I love history. And if you see history, the history of these things that have happened, it gets bad before it gets good. You can hope, but you have to be realistic. So I was like, you know what? Things are just about to get a little bad. So immediately we jumped into creative mood. What can we do? I locked my family down before they announced the lockdown.
Wow.
Because, you know, I had family in Liberia during the Ebola. So they had to come and stay with me. So I've experienced this through other people. And I knew that, listen, you need... So we were already set before they did the lockdown. And that was, you know, the great thing. So again, you're forced to go into creative mood and dig things from your heart. And you'll be amazed at the things that, you know, you find. Once upon a time, we didn't have TV screens to tell our story. We had, you know, by the fireside. And we evolved to television. So it's important to see what we can do. It doesn't make it easy, but I think I have always prepared myself for the worst and hope for the best.
Fantastic. Before we come to my other guests, so M.anifest, I know you do a lot of tours, and I also know that before COVID, you were unveiled as the ABSA Ghana ambassador, which I'm sure had a few activations. So can you give us an idea of how this COVID thing interrupted some of your plans and some of your sort of movements?
Yeah, we definitely postponed our London show to October, and fingers crossed that by October, the supposed new normal will come to a better normal, and that can actually happen. Those are very quick things, because obviously Europe and America were immediately more affected. So I mean, if you have a show in London, that has to. In terms of being an ABSA brand ambassador, I think we're fortunate enough to have launched our partnership or our collaboration before, and the ABSA made the change from backlist to ABSA before. But one thing I really do appreciate is that I think there have been things that we've learned to adapt. For instance, ABSA has a ready-to-work program that is targeted more at youth, helping them develop skills to go from studying to the workforce or studying to being self-employed. And this situation has created opportunity when people are at home to actually push that to help people develop skills. I'll give an example. Myself, I've had to redevelop skills as a musician. When I began my career, Bernard, I was recording, mixing, and doing all my stuff at home myself.
Wow.
Now, as you progress in this life, you meet professionally, you meet other people who are competent at this and who are now doing all these things for you. Now I'm relearning some of those tools. It's almost like I'm back in music 101 school. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, not beautiful because obviously under the circumstances, but we have to turn tragedy to triumph. There's no way in which I'm going to be at home and just sleeping and eating as much as I'm tempted to. Instead of developing skills, because life will resume. Lydia was talking about history. We are making history now, but we are also children of history. We know about the Great Depression. We know about different world wars. Do you know there's an interesting thing about Ghana having a flu pandemic in 1922, I think, of sorts. I need to double check. I'll send you the article. I mean, nothing is new under the sun, but as children of history, we know that life will go on. But what are we doing in this time in which there is strange and peculiar? Are we just saying, are we throwing our hands in the sky and saying, hey, God, hey, Mawu, like everything has ended? No, we have to. We have been equipped, especially those of us who are privileged enough, or at least all of us on this call, to have the skills to be able to develop new skills, to do that, and also to put ourselves in the position where we can be of help to others, whether it's using our influence for the greater good. One of the things I tried to do immediately things started getting a little hectic was, I was like, let me use my platform not to spread fear or despair, but to spread encouragement and to share the things that I'm learning, so that we don't run helter skelter and end ourselves up more in a deeper abyss of problem.
You don't want to create a social pandemic in addition to a health pandemic.
No, because that is an actual reality of what we face. Because it's something that is unexpected or something that we never faced before. The sort of misinformation out there that was very early on. Hey, goodness me. I mean, it was so tempting to just have outrage. But I was like, okay, calm down. Let me use some of my special God-given talents, which is the fact that I can be calm. and try and share words of encouragement and share things to help not just myself.
Fantastic. This is the point of view. My guests for the show, I have Lydia Forson. She's an entrepreneur, an actor, a movie producer. M.anifest is also a singer-songwriter and a brand ambassador. When we come back, we'll be joined by my other two, in addition, Kaywa and also Nana Ama McBrown. We're just trying to find out how they are helping us play in this very serious pandemic. We'll read some of your comments as well. This is the point of view. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Point of View. We're trying to give you something else to think about in the 9th week of a pandemic. It's crazy. At least in Ghana, first case, March the 12th. Today is 20th May. So it's pretty serious. My guest, Lydia Forson, M.anifest. I have Kaywa. His name is David Che, actually. Let me just give you a quick intro of something he did with us recently.
All right, so Kaywa. Hey, welcome. I did, Charlie. I wake up. I don't sleep early, so I don't wake up early. Okay. So I wake up for about 10 o'clock, and then get ready to come to the studio. So let's say from about my recording session starts from 12. Okay. 12 p.m. And so then I'm in the studio till I am tired, and then.
So recording session starting at 12. Yeah. You mean is this by appointment, or when you have stuff, your own things you're recording?
Usually I do a lot of mixing and mastering. Okay. But I also produce music too. So I mean, based on how I fix my appointments, I know what to do on Monday, what to do on Tuesday, and then usually Monday.
So that's Kaywa. He was a judge for the Voice Factory. So you are a sound engineer and a music producer. Kaywa, welcome. Good evening.
Thank you, my brother.
This is your cocoa season, eh? Now that people are not working, just you are getting more business. Am I lying?
On the contrary, Charlie. It's not like coming like it should come on.
Seriously?
Corona has made everybody. It's tough for people to go to work and get money and perhaps get into the recording studio and recording all that. And so unlike people like M.anifest who have all the money to get to jump this studio and pay all the money and then work. There are some people who really have to go out and work and make some money before they can actually get into a recording studio to work with a required producer or a sound engineer. And so, yeah, it's not like...
Because I thought because everybody is home, musicians are reflecting more, so they are thinking more and they are coming up with more songs and they need you to help them put it together more. So I'm surprised you are saying business is slow.
No, exactly. But what brings the business to the table is the money.
The loot, money.
Yeah, the loot, yeah. And there are no shows, there are no, you know, I mean, honestly, so that's pretty much what is happening. And you have a lot of artists coming in and then saying, Charlie, you know, the corona issue, so Charlie, try bring the price down. The corona issue, so Charlie, try record a song for me for free, you know, and things like that, you know. So that's what we're suffering in the studio, you know.
So it means that most musicians, a lot of their money comes from shows, not like airplay or buying of their CDs or stuff like that. It's more the shows that gives them the money.
I can tell you for a fact that 60 to 70% of the artists I know derive their revenue from shows. To be very honest with you.
Wow.
Even though the digitalization is working and all that, is largely the shows. So I mean, this thing I have two artists who have actually dropped a very good, pretty good hit, a good song.
Yeah.
And during this time, you expect that they'll be out there playing shows and all that, so we can get something small. But unfortunately, the songs are out there doing very well, even though they are on iTunes. We're making, some money from iTunes and all that. But basically, for the shows, we're not finding ourselves playing shows because of the pandemic.
Wow, that's interesting. M.anifest, just quickly on that. So, is it true that most of your money comes from the shows, not the Spotify's and the iTunes of this world? Your money is more in shows?
But I do believe one of our key challenges or one of our key goals is to change that. It cannot be the situation where if I do not leave my house and go to a show, I'm going to be starving. It is regressive. It's a regressive way of our business to work. It's a problem. Literally, your birthday twin, Adam, I think went on social media recently talking about the royalties issue and other things. I mean, these streams of income from musicians, that should happen. Like, I should be able to, for instance, take a year off and say, look, I'm working on my new project. And what is my next venture? I'm trying to take things to another level. So I'm in hibernation and still be able to subsist.
Wow.
So we have to be able to do that. It cannot be the case that if I am not being booked for shows every week or every month, I am starving, you know, and that is a problem. We have to value creativity in a way in which, okay, we have to apply ourselves, obviously, to be able to make sure that the streams of income are diversified enough so that it is not, and I really feel for the people who are coming up, like Kaywa was saying, he has musicians who have hit songs now. I would hope that maybe, for instance, from streams or maybe from some company using their ads, their songs for ads, etc., that they'll be getting enough revenue to at least subsist. Instead of the fact that, if they are not playing shows, then their hit song is basically cost 90 in terms of what they can do. So it is actually a problem in the creative ecosystem now in terms of balancing the act. How do we balance the act business-wise? And for me, I think the older you go in this business, the more you learn the importance of balancing the act. So that because if desperation comes in, it's also when you follow.
Let's talk about the opportunity of online as a platform. So two things. We've seen online concerts. We've also seen social media being used to push certain people. So let me just start with Lydia and then I'll come to the others. Lydia, how is social media helping you? How are you using social media in this time? Because I think that's the only thing that's grown within this COVID period. How is it helping you, if it is at all? Check your sound.
Yes. I think, the great thing about, during this, I mean, it's nothing positive about COVID, but you notice during especially the lockdown period, a lot more people were online. So that means, I mean, the way social media works is you might have 2 million followers, but only 500,000 see the stuff that you put out there. So, during this period, there are a lot more people, online. So then you are able to reach and connect with your fan base a lot more. If you have stuff to promote, if you have information to put out there, it becomes a lot easier. So like I said, when this came out, it's stuff I already do, but I just amplified it more. And so you have to also find more creative ways, again, to, interact with your fan base. So, I mean, I saw with the musicians, as they were doing their online, concerts, we were also doing our own form of just, if it means skits or funny videos and stuff to keep them entertained, but then also how to monetize this. Because, I was just listening to M.anifest and Kaywa talk about, we also suffer the same thing when it comes to royalties. You have to find ways to make, money from your craft. And unfortunately, our system is not set up in a way that, benefits the artists. So for us, if you're online and that's your brand, and what I usually do again is, I make money more from my brand. So when you have a lot more eyeballs, it's easier to sell stuff to people as well. So yes, we capitalize on, at least I did, on the social media space, but it would be a lot more beneficial if there were structures in place. Because I posted this on Twitter that, look, the artists and stuff you're, constantly, asking for stuff are also struggling. There's a struggle that nobody wants to acknowledge, because, part of what we do is to always seem like everything is okay. So it is a daily battle. And I think COVID-19, if anything, exposed some of these struggles, because, actors in South Africa had to file for unemployment. But people don't want to believe that, without the structure, because you can't depend on shows. You can't always depend on a movie. You are an all-round entertainer. But if there's a proper structure in place, when these things happen, you should have something to fall back on. So when you don't, you're forced to dig into all kinds of things. So yes, social media is great and was great during this period, but then without the proper structure, you cannot even capitalize and monetize as much as you could.
Let me come to M.anifest on this. It looks like I'm seeing live online social media battles. I'm seeing all kinds of things. Are these things engineered to just keep the interest, or what are they? I've even seen some beefs and things. Is that like the new strategy people are using, or what do you make of those things?
I can't speak for other people, but I have to say that this is in these times where people are tuned in. I think the media and creators, for instance, have a very important role in terms of how people are engaged, or how people are engaged, what occupies people's time. And yeah, I mean, people, look, the number of IG lives I see every day, like when I go to IG on top there, like this person has gone live. Goodness gracious. It's amazing, but I do think it's also forcing creators to create.
Yeah.
And because there's always been a saturation, but now you have less avenues and you have to really think of ways to cut through. Look, I'm going to give Lydia Forson her props. Listen, Lydia Forson is officially the queen of TikTok in Ghana.
Oh, Lord.
It is made for people like her who actually have acting chops and stuff and are creative. And she's putting it to use. Like, I'm amazed. I'm like, hey, what am I going to do?
Charlie.
Like, and she's actually acting. you're seeing a pronouncement. She's pronouncing what her talents are in these times. So if I'm a musician and I'm going to do so, I did at home with YouTube. This coming Monday, I'm doing with MTV Base and YouTube. I'm doing the Africa Day, which has artists from all over the. So we plug in and we have to make the best out of these. But you have to let your talent shine in these times. Let it inspire and uplift.
Wow.
Now be the time where it's like, it's not who is who in terms of just competition, but who is like, what are you bringing to the table?
Charlie.
Bring something to the table. Everybody can create, but bring something to the table. People want to be glued and people are watching television. Why are they going to be watching Bernard? Because there's maybe something that you are giving them that is AI Richard out here for anything.
Yeah, man.
Etc. So these are times in which we have to live up to the alleged importance of what we do.
Okay.
We have to live up to it. We have to step up our game. It's not because a lot of these things you're saying actually don't have direct financial gain. If I do an IG live and there's 100,000 people on it, it doesn't mean that there's an actual gain. Like I'm not literally making any coins from that, but that engagement with an audience or with people who realize that I am here, I dare for you in these times, actually might go so much further. It is in the moment, there's a togetherness in the moment thing that has a certain cachet to it. You can't put your hand to it. You can't whatever. And so I applaud all the people like Lydia and other people who are literally challenging themselves and putting themselves to the test and giving themselves and ask all of us so much in these times.
Wow.
I'm trying in my little small ways, but Lydia, I need TikTok time.
You need TikTok lessons.
My good, like you really, if you guys haven't seen, you really need to go and refer. I mean, it is actually brilliant. I really think I can't think how actors are now on TikTok because the way she's able to do some of these things is like pitch perfect. And like, whoa, goodness gracious! Like she's assuming these she's using audio bites to assume these kind of different roles and all of that, and it's brilliant. It's actually helping you to see the brilliance of that individual, and you're not just entertained by it; you're enjoying the artistry, and I think it's important because you're not just. I mean, people use entertainer in Ghana, but I think a lot of people are artists. They're creatives. And
I get you. Super.
Yeah.
Lydia, I'll come back to you for some of the products behind you because I want some. But let me come to Kaywa. You are like all kinds of beefs. I've seen some music production battle with JMJ and things like that. I'm sure it's deliberate, right? What's going on? Is it like you just want the eyeballs or you're just feeling bored or what's going on with those things? Kaywa, your sound is off. You're a sound engineer. Put your sound back on.
Am I on now?
You are very on. Go ahead.
Okay, right. So primarily the intention was to just get closer to our fans and also to create the opportunity to get closer to our co-producers and sound engineers for that matter, because throughout our producing times, you'll be surprised that we have not had the time to meet each other, and then to for lack of a better word, to show love and to let you know I love you in spite of the fact that we are perhaps it looks like we are in a competition or something.
Okay.
And so it was beautiful for me, and two, it actually took me back to the fact that I didn't know that I'd produced a lot of songs like that. Well, I started producing pretty, I mean, like in the 90s, so to find myself, Charlie, I was, we play, so I realized I had so many songs that, so it actually took me back to my old songs, and I was so impressed. One of the songs I remember I produced one of the songs that I heard on radio for the first time. I was so thrilled, and actually was in the taxi, and I got out of a taxi because I was so confused. I had to just go back when we were having that battle just to listen to songs like that, and then put songs like that. So it really helped me. It really made me get close to a lot of producers and artists also. And it actually made me relevant also on social media.
Interesting stuff. I know all of you are doing stuff within this period, even though we are in COVID. So when we come back, I'll do some concern on some of the things you've been doing. And then I'll read some comments for you. This is the point of view. And we are talking to some people who make us happy. I call them people who play during the pandemic. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Point of View. Tonight we're talking to M.anifest. He's a musician, a songwriter, and a rapper. Lydia Forson is a movie producer. She's an actor. She has her own business. Now I'm told she's a queen of TikTok as well. She will start TikTok classes. If you don't know what TikTok is, you are watching the wrong program. Seriously, Kaywa is a great friend. He's a music producer. He runs Highly Spiritual. You know, in the past, Kaywa used to say, I don't know what I will talk about, but now he's done Highly Spiritual. And he's also a man of God, Charlie. So let me read a few quick comments for them, and then we'll talk about some of the stuff they're doing. We've not been able to connect to Nana Ama McBrown. And a nice message, Bernard, it'd be like Nana Ama McBrown, brown you. I really don't know. Look, Zoom is complicated. Maybe we couldn't put her on. We'll see. But we agreed to put her on earlier. Bernard, good evening. I want to paraphrase M.anifest. This, our selfish ambition, is in a way linked up to the well-being of others. I think Ghanaians must invest in training and empowering volunteers to communities to sensitize people about the seriousness of COVID-19. This is coming up from Spintex. Bernard, please tell M.anifest that he should have let his core fans more time to brag with no long talk, small, before releasing We Know They Hear. And please ask him when he will have a joint with Asha from Nigeria. This is Edmond from Tema. And then Frank Onassis Avle from Kumasi says, but why are Ghanaian artists waiting till COVID-19 reduces or goes before they bring entertainment to bear? The virus is here to stay, so they should look for other ways of reaching us. That's an interesting point. Now, actually, M.anifest, you can answer that question, but I wanted to ask you also of something you were doing, because I know you came up with a new song, We Know They Hear, during the lockdown period, but I guess you worked on it before lockdown. You sort of just chose to release it. Talk to me a bit about that quickly.
Well, I released 2 songs. I released No Long Talk, which I recorded during COVID. I had a Zoom call. I'll give you the lowdown, actually. I had a Zoom call with some of the Call Money fans. And they were like, yo, you need to give us a song, just wow. So I did that. I released, so that was an adjustment I made, as opposed to something I already had, which was We Know They Hear, which I eventually released like a week afterwards. So I think learning that too, like, nothing is the same, so you have to adjust. I gave them, even though I had We Know They Hear, and that's what we wanted to put out, I gave them No Long Talk before, because that's what they desired. That's what was going to give them, as they said, for online banter. so you have to satisfy the constituent.
I see. And your video featured the biker girls, and I know some of those girls, Jessica and co. Pretty cool. Lydia, I know you are doing some sort of end COVID stigmatization, something. Every now and again, I see you on Twitter talking about COVID or how somebody is putting out wrong information. Tell me, what have you been doing within this period in terms of COVID in particular and some other stuff?
I think a bit of everything. When the first case hit Ghana, I mean, it is important for people to understand that, what is happening now affects everybody. So you have to use whatever platform you have, whatever tools you have to help. And for me, I've always said it's my voice. I mean, some people were able to go out there and give food and sanitizers, and I did my own in my own, way. But I feel like I've always said that what I have that is probably the most powerful is my voice. And and I have, millions of followers. So I'm going to try and, keep them as informed as I can, interact with them as well. and learn from them. I mean, it's always, sometimes it looks like you're the one always telling people stuff. What people don't know is sometimes I put up stuff, and based on the comments, I learn stuff, you know, myself. So every day I'll just be there and I'll read stuff and I have a light bulb, you know, moments. Like a few days ago, I was like, you know, we've talked about COVID, we've talked about, you know, the safety precautions. A lot of people are talking, and it's not something we should stop. But then we are moving into a phase of, there are people who are going to be, you know, affected, and they're going to recover, and what happens to them. And I was reading all of these, you know, stories online, and they were just horrific. And I was like, look, I've been so fixated on, you know, the disease, I've forgotten that there are recoveries, and people, when they do recover, they are really stigmatized. So I said, listen, it's something I want to talk about. So I don't know what I'm going to wake up and want to talk about, you know, tomorrow. But for me, it's just been who I always have been.
I saw you do something on hair, because it looked like some Westerners thought that some of our girls' hairstyles was like we were copying Corona's DNA structure or something, and you were not too happy. So I saw you posted some hair designs and said, Charlie, we've been doing this before Koro, so don't come and confuse us. What was going on
thankfully,
there?
you know, people were able to rally behind me, and then we got Sky to change, you know, their headline and everything. But it was very unfortunate. And again, it boils down to, you know, how information is disseminated, and journalists. Unfortunately, this story was written by two Kenyan men. And it was a single story, you know, as Chimamanda would say, there's a power in a single story. It's just one hairdresser who makes this comment, and they knew exactly what she meant, because what we have been doing with Kinky Matters, that's my hair brand, is during the lockdowns, a lot of women were struggling to do their hair, and I started putting out videos and tips on how they should do it. So it was a powerful story in there for African women who want to return to styles that are much easier for them to, you know, manipulate and handle. And it was an opportunity to do something positive, but then, you know, was turned into something negative. And I jumped on it because, again, it's part of stigmatization. And I'm surprised, you know, Sky News didn't, you know, think twice about it, because, again, once you create that idea, some little girl 10 years later will be walking on the streets of America, and someone will point at her and say, Corona. And so it was important for me to, you know, put it out there and make sure, you know, I got Wiala and a whole bunch of people, I can't say it's just me, who rallied behind, and, you know, we didn't get a 90% win, but it was an almost win, and I'll take that.
So show me some of the bottles behind you. What are they? Is it?
You know what? Everybody's going to say that this is...
No, what is it? What Kinky Matters? Just show me. What is it?
So this is Kinky Matters. I can't believe you even allowed me to do this, but it's Kinky Matters. This is our secret hair recipe. My mother formulated this about 30 years ago. So it's what we do. We're coming out with a whole range of products. COVID will not stop us. But we've been educating a lot of people. A lot of women have come asking how they can do their hair. So again, there's negative, and then you can make something positive out of the negative. It's a great time for Ghanaian women to, you know, talk about their hair. People think it's not important, but it really, really, you have no idea what a woman's hair does in how, you know, confident she is, you know. It's amazing the things you can achieve when women are able to have confidence in their hair.
Super. Thank you for talking. Let me come to Kaywa as I try and wind down. Kaywa, let me appeal to your prophetic side. Charlie, this COVID thing, what's up? When is it going to leave? Because some of your fans say you are also a man of God.
I know, right?
So, I beg, what is the spirit saying about COVID-19 so we can adjust our body well?
Well, I believe that it is, I'll not say it has come to stay, but what I'll say is that it will go away. And I believe that it's, for me, generally, I think it is time for people to be drawn closer to God, to know God for themselves. The orientation we've gone through, even from childhood to date, is that you need to go or know God through a certain person called a man of God. You need to travel for miles to meet this man who will show you who God is and where God is and what God does and what he doesn't like and what he likes. It is time for people. You see, when you let me just go into spiritual a bit. But
preacher.
The Bible says that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell in. For God himself founded it on the sea, and he formed it on the waters or on the flood. It means that everything we are seeing right now belongs to God. All right? Including people who dwell in it. And so that brings to mind whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God or blah, blah, blah. There is a creator who looks up to you, or there's a creator you have to always look for or look at. And he is our source. Let's stop relying on the resource and focus on the source. And so it's time for everybody to locate or look for him. You understand? So it will go. Corona will go. Whatever will try to come will still go because God loves.
So you believe we'll have concerts again as we have them, because people are now saying things like packed gatherings not going to happen in a long time until we get a vaccine.
Honest truth is that we will go back to our regular lives.
Okay.
Things will be normal again. I remember when the yellow fever or something came, and it was something that people actually suffered, and people thought it was not going to go away until there was a vaccine to take care of it. You understand? It will go. Challenging. Let's forget COVID-19 and believe in God.
It will be. Let me see. I'm told Nana Ama McBrown is on. She's probably going to give me the closing prayer. And then we close. Charlie, Nana Ama McBrown, you're a big woman. Charlie, hi, how are you? Oh, what's happening? What's going on there? Oh, baby, wow. Nana Ama, check your sound. Check your sound.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you. Hi, how are you?
We are fine by His grace, and you. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I know.
Mike's in the phone. But she had to put. I'll beat you. Stop it. I don't know why she put the phone. I just saw it. I'm so sorry.
Kaywa bank. Come back. Say brownie me. It is good. Say why?
Me pacho. I beg you, host me again. What? I beg you.
Now, how are you? How is COVID treating you?
We are very fine. We're home. I mean, I think in all things we should give glory to God. Because whatever it is, we can't change the situation now. We're just hoping that God will make a way again for us to come back to our normal life. And so you can't complain, COVID or no COVID. Thank God we're still alive and we still have our families and our loved ones.
Say hi to your daughter. She's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maxine.
Bye-bye. Okay, thank you. So
I want to take the thing off and then you talk.
We are wrapping up. And Nana, thank you for joining. Let me just take final quick comment from M.anifest. M.anifest, are you there or you've gone home?
I'm here, Papa.
Give us the closing prayer because we have just a minute. So,
thank you for having me. I'm sending much love and encouragement to everybody, and I do hope that we are never the same after COVID. I hope we can become better. I hope.
God bless you.
I hope after going through this, we are better about how we treat each other, how we treat our bodies. You know, and these are the times where our immune system has been our greatest defense. How we treat the environment, how we do all of that. So I hope we become better people, and I hope we work on that during these times. I hope we don't lose this opportunity to become better people. So I want to encourage everybody for us to just seek to be better people during these times, so that we don't come back to normal. Our new, whatever that regular is that we want to happen, is better be a better regular, because the one before wasn't that great. Thank you.
Super. Thank you very much. My guests tonight have been M.anifest, who's a rapper, songwriter, brand ambassador. Lydia Forson is an actor, a movie producer, an entrepreneur. Kaywa is a sound engineer and a producer. And of course, Nana Ama McBrown. Clearly, she didn't brown us. She came on, lovely baby. Nana, thank you so much. At least better late than never. Look, we hope you guys are staying safe. As I always say, we will defeat COVID-19 if we work together, because together we are more. Don't forget, this show was brought to you by Airtel Tigo. My name is Bernard Avle. Stay safe. See you next time. Bye-bye.